You are listening to a special edition of the IU Report with Grant Shouse and Mike Hutsell, and it's only on the Central Indiana Sports Report.
It's one of those weird kind of games here. It's a bye game for Indiana. So we're talking about Indiana, Chicago State, a reaction to it here on the IU Report, on the Central Indiana Sports Report. Grant Shouse, Mike Hutsell, Greg Bengelt's here hanging out as well. And Mike, it's one of those games. They won by 20. They hit. I think they came close to, or if not broke the record for threes in a game. They still only won by 20, and it was one of those games where you kind of woke up yesterday and you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot. They're playing Chicago State today.
Well, the game was not televised, obviously. We talked about BTN Plus and our opinions on that, but it was actually cheaper to get into the game yesterday than to subscribe to BTN Plus to sit down and watch it. So a really bizarre, kind of like perfectly encapsulates Indiana basketball type of game. They did not hit the 3-point record, but they were certainly pacing for it in the first half. I think there was 14 threes in the first half, and they were up 30. And then in the second half, 1 3 on like 17 attempts, and missed their first 14, I think, for the 14 or 15 attempts from 3 in the second half. And they just kind of slogged through the second half. It was not a game where they were ever pressured by Chicago State,
No.
which would be much more, obviously, concerning. But they also didn't beat Chicago State by 40, which is what Vegas thought they might do going in. It was a 37-point spread. The tale of Indiana basketball this season, they hit threes in the first half. They looked good. Lamar Wilkerson looked like he was on his way to another Penn State type performance. And Nick Dorn, 3 or 4 threes in the first half. Connor Enright knocked down threes in the first half. And in the second half, I don't think they played poorly. They got good looks from everything that has been reported about the game. And DeVries told them he wasn't telling them not to shoot it because he wants the guys to have the mindset of if you're open, shoot it. But they just didn't knock them down in the second half. So pretty, I'm not going to say a frustrating game, just a game on the schedule. They did what they were supposed to do.
That's probably the worst team they're going to play this year, whether it's a conference game, non-conference game. That's the worst team they're going to play in Chicago State. Kind of a joke, if you ask me. There's really not much to say other than that they did what they were supposed to do, and they beat a non-conference opponent by 20. The game was not as close as it looked. Right? Like they won by 20, but you felt like they were up by 40 the whole game. Again, like you said, they were never in danger of losing the lead or getting beat or letting Chicago State get on a run and, have forced a timeout. It's so frustrating when you know that your team lives and dies by the 3. And thankfully, they were able to hit 14 threes in the first half and looked flat in the second half. But because think about it, if they didn't come out shooting great, you never know how this game would have turned out.
Yeah, and they were just better. It was pretty obvious just at every position they were better than the team they were playing. And I don't want to say they got complacent because, again, they were executing. They were getting shots that were open. They just weren't hitting shots that were open. So the frustrating thing for me is, we've talked ad nauseum about this on this show. We know Indiana can beat this team. This is not breaking news. This is not something that we should get overly excited about because we know they can beat the Chicago States of the world. I want to see this team. And we thought we saw it with Marquette. Marquette's bad. We thought we saw it with K-State. We don't really know what K-State is. They played 2 good teams in the non-conference. And then to some extent, they kind of got blown out by Louisville. It was 16-0, whether or not what the final score says. That game was never really a game Louisville felt like they were going to lose.
Right.
And then they got physically overmatched by Kentucky, who is seemingly riding the ship a little bit down there after their big win yesterday over St. John's. And then they had their one road conference game where I'm still just baffled that they could lose to Minnesota, as bad as Minnesota is. Until proven otherwise, these games are just going to be games that we talk about. They're like, yeah, they came in and they beat a team that they were supposed to beat, and now we'll just move on to another game against a team we're supposed to beat. But
Right.
this is more of a hit me with a stick when we start playing conference games against the Michigan States, Nebraskas, Purdue's of the world, and see how we do in those type of settings.
Yeah.
Did you just say the Purdue's, the Michigan States, and the Nebraskas? That sounds weird.
Longest winning streak in the country, dude. That's all I can say about Nebraska.
And it's legit. They are legit good.
That's the thing, is that Monday they're going to get another shot in Siena, who is better than Chicago State. We know that. And again, it's one of those games where Indiana's probably going to win. Obviously, I hope I'm right. They're going to have to come out.
Are you going to tear yourself away from the Bloomington Walmart long enough to go to that game while you're in town, Grant?
I don't know, because I'm doing all my Christmas shopping there tomorrow. So it's a big day.
That sounds right. That sounds about right.
That's a huge day for buy a snow globe from the same section as Tom Crean.
That's right.
The same place that Tom Crean stocked up on his Diet Coke. So
that's right.
It's not Chicago State. They're probably better than Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, but they're bad. I looked at their schedule and they have not played a single good team, and they're 9-3. So St. Bonaventure is the best team they've played.
And that was one of the three, right?
That was one of the three, correct.
Yeah, so hopefully
Siena's had some good teams through the years.
It's where Fran McCaffrey.
That's right.
We were blessed with Fran McCaffrey.
He got them in the tournament. I think they beat Ohio State.
They did. They gave Louisville a hell of a game when Louisville was a 1 seed.
Wow. This does not appear to be a good Siena team, though.
And this has been our lesson in Siena basketball, because after that, I'm out of my Siena knowledge. So,
yeah, it's just one of those games where you just hope Indiana can shoot well. Like, you need another Penn State performance. You need to come out and beat them the way that you beat Alabama A&M. Not sleepwalking through it, not letting Siena hang around in the first half. Again, this team is still more fun to watch than the last two teams, the last 2 years of Mike Woodson. This team, even though that they do struggle at times, they have players that you can kind of stomach being on the floor, like a Connor Enright and Trent Sisley, not Reed Bailey, but like even sometimes Tate Connerway. I've had my frustrations about him, and Tucker DeVries. These are still guys that you kind of like to watch play still a little bit. You couldn't stand watching Umar Balo's fat ass run up and down the floor, and and put Malik Renew out there and let him do his thing. This team is, even though they are frustrating, it's kind of like teaching a toddler stuff.
Somewhere out in Mali right now, the Balo family's listening to this pod, absolutely furious about our Umar Balo slander.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well,
I slandered him for 4 years, so I think they'll be okay.
Greg, when you see those numbers come in about those 4 podcast listens out in Mali, we'll know why now.
That's right. So we're out of our Siena information. I will tell you this. Indiana's a 97.8% chance to win, according to ESPN Analytics. And it is at 6 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. And now we know everything you need to know about Siena.
Yeah, and this is it for 2025. So you don't get another look at Indiana again until Big Ten play kicks off the first weekend of January. So that could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing that they're going to have 2.5 weeks between games. They used to call this Camp Cal down in Kentucky, where he would get these 2 weeks with the team from Christmas till after the New Year and just absolutely drill them into the ground, and they would get so much better in this span. So hopefully that maybe you see a little bit of that from DeVries. Get guys healthy.
I'm sure players are looking forward to probably having some time off here, because you can probably afford to let your guys go home for Christmas this year. Not all of them get to do that, so that'll probably be a good thing for them, and then they can come back and get fresh and ready. Actually, we're going to see after the Siena game, we're going to see an Indiana football game before we'll see an Indiana basketball game in this stretch.
That's right, and we'll be back on Tuesday to talk about the Indiana Hoosiers and the Alabama Crimson Tide, and then we'll preview it later in the week. We'll be talking about that all week with not just Grant and Mike, also with Eric and Ryan Robinson. IU Alabama is our focus this week, guys. Thanks so much for breaking this down. I can't wait to start talking some college football playoffs.
Looking forward to it. Everybody have a wonderful Christmas.
Yep. Merry Christmas.
And, of course, the Central Indiana Sports Report wishes you a Merry Christmas as well. Please join us on Tuesday for the IU Report and lots of IU Alabama coverage. And do us a huge favor, share this podcast with an IU fan in your life. Help us spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is talking about what Central Indiana sports fans are talking about every single day. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.